from Country Chic Paint. Just gonna wait a little bit for people to get on here. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. If you can't tell by the thumbnail, I'm doing children's blocks today with Country Chic Paint and some hemp oil. Just gonna get this all set up here. Couple of tricks with this one too. Hope you like it. Got all my colors ready. How's everybody's day going? Let me know in the comments where you're coming from, who's on. Okay. Just making sure my paints are all ready. Okay, do we have some people on? Hi, thanks for joining. Just gonna wait a couple seconds for people to come on. Just put out a little announcement, so it might take a bit. Getting my paints ready. Brushes. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start. By the thumbnail, if you haven't been able to tell, we're going to be doing children's blocks with some Country Chic paints. I've got a couple ready already from last night. I had to make sure some of them had dried nicely and were ready to be sealed. So already did a couple of colors. I kind of went with a pastel 90s kids theme. I always wanted blocks like this, I guess, as a kid. So, hey Brandon, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching again. It's awesome. Got a couple already made from last night. I added a couple of stencils. Not sure if you can see that, but there's a little flower stencil in lazy linen on there. Got one with a little heart on it. So these have been hemp oiled last night. They had about 12 hours to dry, which is what we recommend in our tutorial. So be sure to check that out, Hemp Oil Country Chic Paint. Thanks for everybody coming back on now. Awesome, hi. Okay. So I'm just gonna start with painting a couple of them. These are just simple raw wood pieces from the dollar store. I get a lot of my stuff from the dollar store. Just a simple $2 pack. Comes with 35 pieces and makes some kids' day. And I admit I ended up playing with these just a little bit by accident because they're so much fun to use. So they would make a great gift, and you can customize them with Country Chic Paint, and it just makes it that much more special. So here's some of the examples I've already done. Just a couple. I'm going to go in with a couple of the colors I've already used. This one is Wondrous, a nice deep sea green, kind of a moody teal. And I want to paint one of the arches in this color. I've got my handy artist brushes. We have a set on the website. No prep involved with these. They're just raw, unfinished wood. Very simple. Paint's going to adhere perfectly to them. Might have to do 2 coats. This paint is definitely safe for little kids, decor items, children's cribs. Definitely a great option to go if you're looking to update some children's decor. Let me know in the comments if you've ever painted anything for your kids, for grandkids, anything at all, what kind of projects you may have done. We have a couple of blog entries about crib painting. They look really nice finished with natural wax or some hemp oil. Natural finishes are the best. Love to see in the comments if anybody's ever done anything like that before. So that's just a little bit of Wondrous right there. Really cute. Got your natural wood tone and Wondrous. I do think I want to kind of stain a couple of these just for some variety. I like the wood tone, but it would be nice with slightly darker. So I'm going to use some smoky quartz furniture glaze. All of these products that I'm using today are from Country Chic Paint. They can be found on the website or from a local retailer. So just make sure you check out the store locator on the website. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you get more updates when we do videos like this. And check out any of the past ones we've already done. Painted some blocks. Nice, yeah. One of our retailers, I can't remember, Boho Chic maybe, she did kids blocks. And she stenciled them with the lettering. It was really cute. You can make them in like a old vintage style. Cool, modern, like what I'm doing right now. Gets a little tricky when you're trying to paint every surface and there's no flat one to lay it on, so I like to leave just some of them with somewhere to sit while they dry. And try and keep your pieces separated so you don't get them messy. So that's one little one in Wondrous. Just gonna do a quick few in Smoky Quartz. This is our furniture glaze in the chocolate brown color. We have a couple of tints like black and white and some sparkle ones. So I think I want to take the wood grain on this really cute one and just amplify it with some glaze. So same thing, just new clean brush. Gonna brush the glaze on and wipe some of it off. Just make sure it gets all over there. Has anybody used this glaze before? It's pretty fun. These are great for tabletops if you're wanting a natural wood look. They act like a stain and just penetrate right into porous wood, or they go right over paint for some nice antique finishes. So just making this block a little darker, and then I'll wipe off the excess and let it dry. And the stains, the furniture glazes, sorry, they can also be coated in hemp oil. And I'll get to that in a sec about sealing these. You don't have to. These are going to be bumped around in a box when they're not being used, and of course a kid's using them, so you might want to give them a bit of protection. So I like to do a couple of coats of hemp oil on these kind of things. Just keeps the paint looking nice, like protection, so there's just slightly darker block there. You definitely have to try graphite. I think you would like it a lot. Nice cool color. Maybe one more. The circle guy. Just make sure you don't drop it right into the jar. I did that last night. Fun fishing that out. So I don't let it sit for too long, kind of just gently brush it all back when I'm done. And just get my fingerprints off that, let it dry. Now it just looks a little more rustic, which is what I'm going for. You can also, if I wanted, I could glaze all these painted ones too, but I kind of like the clean, fresh look that I'm getting from them. Gonna use the color Hurricane, which is this nice steely blue-gray color. I think that would look really nice with what I've got going. So I kind of just pull whatever's off the shelf and flip the jars upside down and see if the colors look good together. That's kind of how I arrange a palette. We do have a couple of color combinations if you wanted to check out the website as well, just on the colors page, just if you wanted to layer finishes. Some good suggestions there. New brush. Gonna do a triangle piece in Hurricane. Love this gray. It can definitely pull more blue tones. It's one of those trick of the light colors. Color cards are handy if you don't have one. Hand painted swatch, that's what you need when picking out paint. And this has pretty good coverage, so I don't think I'll need to have to do another coat. Looks pretty good, but of course hasn't dried yet. And I'm just going to leave the bottom and catch it when everything else is dry. So I just want to show you kind of how nice these colors look together. Just really quickly, that's Hurricane, and this is Bee's Knees, a really buttery yellow. Really good kids' colors if you pull them all together. I'm curious what anybody else thinks about palettes for kids. Show me in the comments what you think, what kind of colors you think go great together. I don't have any whites in here. I just had really light grays and mushroom tones. But if you think a white is a great one to pair with like a baby pink or something, let me know. I'm always curious what people think. And just gonna do one in Peachy Keen. This is one of my favorite colors. This in Jitterbug, or this in Wondrous. I just can't get enough of this color. I think it's just very trendy right now, and that's why, but I don't care. I love it. And I'm gonna do this arch in Peachy Keen. Just make sure it's clean. No prep needed for these simple little wood crafts. Just get the back. And with anything this small and you're putting a lot of paint on it, just make sure you catch the edges so everything's nice and clean, or you'll end up with some gooped up paint lines. So just make sure you clean those up, or you'll have to do a little bit of sanding if you're particular when it's dry. And just getting under the arch. All right, well, we got a cute little peachy keen arch there. I did stencil some of these already because I wanted some variation and just to dress them up a bit. Again, just some simple stencils from craft stores or the dollar store, Walmart, things like that. When you're painting very tiny things, go for the smaller stencils that have the really tiny patterns. I got flowers, chevrons, and hearts, so I think I'll be using those. These are just a couple of examples. That is Piece of Cake with Mermaid's Tail, just two of our complementary purple colors, so they look really great together, kind of just a lacy pattern that I put on there. And then Peachy Keen over Lazy Linen for a cute little chevron block. And I just think when they're all stacked together, you get some nice, fun, kid-like variation. So, gonna take the flower one here, and I think I want to add some flowers to this simple Wanderer's block. And I want to do it with the color Peachy Keen again, because it's awesome. I said I like those two colors together, and I'm going to put them together. So I don't really cut up these kind of sheets just because I lose a lot of my stencils that way. So typically I would recommend taping these down to the little surface that you're painting, and just make sure that it's nice and firm so you can't slip up. But not going to happen for these ones today. Thanks, Brandon. So I have a little makeup pouncer, again, just from the dollar store. You can get any shape. They have the triangle ones. You can get them in bulk anywhere really. I find that these little firm pouncer kind of sponges are great for stencils because you don't have so much bleed through where the lines leach out. Get a nice crisp look with these. And rule of thumb is just always have very little paint. It's easier to add to it than put too much on. So I'm just going to start with a little bit that's on the end of the lid here. Gonna kind of dab off the excess because I just want just a tad, and I'm gonna lightly stamp. I've got my fingers holding it down, and I'm pouncing. That's all you have to do with stenciling. It's very easy. And just get a little, I think I can take more from that. Just a little bit of paint. Good coverage with these, so you don't have to worry about doing too many coats. You might have to do a second if you're doing signs, but simple little stencil projects like this. Oh, that was a good decision. I absolutely love this combination. Now I'm gonna let that dry before I do the back side. But yeah, just cute little blocks like this. I love them all together, little prints. Every time I go to the grocery store or anything, I'll always check to see if someone has stencils and pick them up, because you can never have too many. I think I want to do a pink and purple one too, just because you can, and that's a tried and true combination. So I'm going to do it with the chevron block pattern that I have right here. Again, same rule, just laying it down and using the pouncer makeup sponge. Just a bit of paint on the end. Kind of pick where I want it. And if you mess up, that's totally okay. Or with something this small, just wait 5 minutes and paint over it and start again. There we go. No mistakes. Okay, so that's just a little cute chevron pink and purple. This is Piece of Cake, that dusty lilac color we have, and then Peachy Keen. So these are looking really cute. I'll zoom in so you can see here. Maybe you'd like to know what they kind of look like. That's kind of what we're working with here. Just some really cute stencil shapes. So that's kind of the gist of the basics. You just paint, add some stencils, wait for them to dry. I would only wait maybe a couple of hours. Don't really have to, they're so small and it's quite warm in my house. So I have some of these that I've already hemp oiled last night. You don't have to finish pieces like this with hemp oil or wax, it's totally optional. The paint is pretty durable on its own, but it is a matte finish, so something like this that's going in a box and bumping against itself, colors might transfer and it might just wear off over time. Now, I love that look because that's kind of what the chalk style paint originated for, but you can definitely seal for a little added protection, and because it is children's furniture, I want to make sure that this is natural, safe to use if they accidentally try to gnaw on it or something. I would be giving these to someone probably 3 and older as suggested on the box for these pieces, so they might not be in the teething stage. So just if you're curious about hemp oil, check out the product page on countrychicpaint.com or .ca, and we do have a tutorial on how to use it with a lot of other products. It works great as a finishing oil. I think in the woodworking world they usually use linseed or Danish oil, but this is a great alternative as well. It does take a bit of time to cure, about 4 weeks. That's all happening under the surface. You can still gently use a piece or these after a day or two. But these, hemp oil does need a few hours to absorb the first time. I read that if you need to do a second or a third coat, which is common for higher traffic pieces like a coffee table, you might want to just wait an hour before buffing. But I gave these all about 12 hours to absorb the oil. I just brushed it on. You can use a cloth. So I've got my lint-free cloth that you do want to use to buff. This is just a typical J cloth or a Frank cloth from a hardware store. Make sure that they're lint-free. I used something like this to apply them once and I got a whole bunch of lint all over it. It did come off once everything dried, but it was just a pest to work with. So just need a little bit of a lint-free cloth. The hemp oil has had some time to absorb, and all you have to do is buff the excess. It is going to dry to a pretty low low shine. There's not much gloss to it. When you go to buff, you can always buff more and increase the shine. Hemp oil is something I just started using this year, and I absolutely love it. I've put it on about 4 or 5 of my own pieces at home. I think it looks great over a licorice black paint. Absolutely love it. You could also use wax if you don't have hemp oil. That would work perfect for these as well. Wax doesn't have so much of a time to wait for everything to absorb. You can pretty much buff right away as soon as you've applied it. But these are just nice low matte finish with light protection, and I'm quite happy with that. All I gotta do is buff. And I think I will add just a second coat because they are going in a box and they'll be bumped around. Just want to make sure they look good for life. Just absolutely love these colors together. Just a nice homemade, well-intentioned gift for somebody. If you have the time, definitely suggest trying something like this out. Just buffing each one. These cloths are pretty handy. They're reusable. You can just rinse them out between uses. I get about 5 or 6 projects done before I have to throw one out, before it gets really ratty on me. When it starts to break into your finish, just discard. They're pretty inexpensive. And if you're buffing over rougher wood, some of this has just been clear cut and not quite sanded. It will tear up the cloth, so just keep that in mind. If you're buffing a rougher finish, you might embed some of the cloth you're working with. So that's why we always kind of recommend having a softer finish to start with, sanding a bit. Painted furniture would be fun. Just some rough wood here. Okay, so that is that. I do want to show how to apply just a little bit of our hemp oil. That is this right here. It comes in an 8 ounce, I believe. We did have a larger one. I'm not sure if we still carry it, but it comes usually in a light green or a yellow, depending on the harvest. I don't have a little tray to show you, but you'll be able to see it on the cloth here. I can't tell you if light green meant early harvest or not. I'm not a farmer. Apologies. Could probably Google that. But that is just kind of a medium green. It will not make your piece green, don't worry. It doesn't have any ingredients in it that will actually cause yellowing or stains to appear. All it's going to do is go on just like an oil would, like you've put cooking oil or something on there, but it will cure, it will dry to a little clear film that you can then buff away. So this is hemp oil over fancy frock. It does have a bit of a green tone to it. That's going to go away as it cures. Absolutely fine. What hemp oil does is it's kind of like nature's pledge. You apply it every year or so, depending on how well worn the piece is. You can probably stretch that to 2 years. The dresser I did last year, I definitely don't need to do it still, and that's something I use every day. It looks great still. Has a bit of a nice low sheen and very soft to the touch. That's what I love so much about the natural finishes. Oh, wait, I've already applied hemp oil to this one. Oops. Okay, the clean ones. Gotta keep track. Just a little bit is all you need. I just like to keep it on a cloth, dab it lightly. But this is just the example to show you the color. You do want to use the lint-free cloth, sorry. And just keep your oil cloths separate from something that you might have used for glaze. That's another suggestion. Oil and paint don't really mix. So if you were to paint over these again, I suggest removing the oil with TSP. Now, oil does absorb really, really well into raw wood, so you might have to do that a couple times. I'm very positive I don't want to paint over these again. I like the way they look, so I don't mind having to do hemp oil. But just make sure if you're doing a project and you've hemp oiled it, have to have some proper prep if you're touching that paint up. So I'm going to let this sit for a couple of hours, let it absorb before I go ahead and buff again. Oh, and I just want to share a little coupon. We did use a very small amount of glaze today, but if you are interested and you're watching this video this week, this coupon, Glaze 10, is good for 10% off our website till about May 5th, I believe. 10% off countrychicpaint.com. You don't have to get glaze. You can get anything you like. Just a nice discount if you're wanting to try something like this out. Little goes a long way. I can pretty much just put a dollop on the cloth and do about 10 pieces before I have to do it again. And I let all of them sit before I buff away with a clean cloth. And all it does, adds a bit of depth to it. It will deepen the color. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but it just adds kind of a little translucence to the wood. So it just looks very, very nice. Nourished and rich. These are some of the bee's knees one. Little sunny butter yellow. Great color for kids stuff. And that's just kind of a little demonstration. You stack them up once they're all done. I'm not very good at building blocks apparently, but hemp oil and a little bit of paint is all you need to do something like this, a little craft. I got these from the dollar store. They have a lot of wood crafts. Most craft stores are catching on that people are wanting to do this at home. So this is a great gift. This is a great opportunity to make stuff for your own kids. I hope this tutorial or demonstration was a little helpful. Be sure to use that coupon if you're interested, and always subscribe to the channel if you want more ideas. We put them out every week. And again, I'm just going to sign off, I think, because I'm all done here. I got to let these cure, and then I'll be back to buff them. Stay tuned for next week's videos. I'll be doing some more projects. And yeah, thanks, Brandon. Hope you have a good day too. And everyone else who is watching and watches later. I'm just going to come around and turn off the computer. Everybody have a good day. Happy painting.